on the top step.
On to the women's race, and the question on everybody's lips: how on earth do you stop Gwen Jorgensen? The American world champion is aiming for an 8th win in a row on the Gold Coast. No woman in World Series history has come close to matching that record. And with no lack of any real gradient on the course, it'll take something seriously special to stop her extending that run. Having previously struggled on the Auckland course, Jorgensen finally broke her duck last time out. With no one putting up a strong enough fight on the bike, she came into transition 2 with the leaders. Without the rest of the field to chase down, as we've seen her do on so many occasions in the past, the run was a formality. So it goes without saying that Jorgensen leads the women's rankings. But it's an American top 2, as Katie Zafira's second place in Auckland matched her Abu Dhabi result. Bermuda's Flora Duffy, who finished 3rd in the Middle East, is back in action this weekend, having sat out Auckland. She could put up a challenge over the Olympic distance, as could the ever-consistent Andrea Hewitt. She'll be looking to stay out of trouble after being penalised for littering in Auckland. As for the much-depleted British contingent, you can expect to see our 2 swim bike specialists, Lucy Hall and Jess Learmont, at the front of the pack on the first 2 disciplines, but neither are really known for their strong running legs. Lucy was selected as a support athlete at the London Olympics, and the Gold Coast will only be Jess's second race at World Triathlon Series level. Back out at the British camp, both athletes have been chatting about their series so far.
I've kind of worked my way up over the last few years. I've gone from, doing local races in like Tadcaster and Leeds, where I'm from, then going to like European races, and then this year I've stepped up again to World. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind, really.
I've had a lot of experience growing up through the World Series, but I think now, like this year, I've definitely learnt what works for me, what courses don't work for me. I'm hoping I've got the experience now to try and make it to the top. Like me and Jess get on so well. We have a really good relationship, so we share an apartment at the moment, and she's definitely like, she always helps me out, and I always feel like, she's kind of like the mother figure, and always like helping me out in terms of like cooking and things, but when it comes to racing, like I help Jess out a little bit, and yeah, we work really well.
It's nice to be with Lucy because she's got so much experience and she's really good to train with. She's lovely, is Lucy.
Jess has got such a good sense of humour, and that helps me a lot because athletes, I think, tackle things in different ways. So some people like to just be focused and just like not very talkative, but Jess is just so easygoing.
It's been another exhibition performance from the world number 1. This lady is the very best in the world right now.
Gwen's a phenomenal athlete. She's an exceptional runner, and she just looks effortless. She's not unbeatable. Personally, I think it's going to be a team effort to beat her.
It's go hard in the swim and the bike, really, and try to tire her out for the run, and try to get a gap, hopefully, so maybe, attack on the bike, try to get away, make it as hard as possible, really.
In Auckland, though, she was really good. I respect her a lot for being able to hang on to our group, because we were swimming and riding pretty tough, and she managed to just run away from us in that 10K. But like I said, we've got Helen Jenkins and Non Stanford and the rest of those girls that are really phenomenal athletes as well, and I think they can definitely rival her. All we can do is try, and at the moment it doesn't really matter, it's just all about trial and error. And me and Jess really have the same kind of look towards races. We always just give it 110% and we never hold back. So I think if me and Jess just do that, at least we can say we've tried.
As you'd expect, there'll be a strong contingent of Australian female athletes looking to perform well in today's race. Emma Moffat won the last Gold Coast race in 2009 on her way to securing the World Championship title that year, and she'll be joined on the start list, amongst others, by London 2012 bronze medalist Erin Densham. Weighing heavy on their minds will be the memory of former world champion Jackie Fairweather, who passed away last November. Using her maiden name, Gallagher, Jackie was best known for winning the world title back in 1996. She also won a marathon bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games in 2002. Along with her compatriot, Emma Carney, it was their success that paved the way for future Australian champions like 2008 Olympic gold medalist Emma Snowsill, Moffat and Densham. The #1 position has been left open as a tribute to Fairweather, with a golden bike rack also left open in transition to remember her contribution to triathlon. For the women's race, let's hand you back to our commentators Matt Chilton and Steve True.
Yes, Jackie Fairweather sadly missed Steve True. She was a formidable triathlete.
Jackie Fairweather, Jackie G, she was as hard as nails, Matt. I mean that as a real compliment. But she was also a great mentor to younger athletes and a really, truly caring person.
So, in honour of Jackie Fairweather, née Gallagher's passing, #1 has been rested, which means that on the start list, Gwen Jorgensen, who leads the standings, goes in with #2. Katie Zafiris has 3, then Hewitt, Riveros, Sato, True, McShane and Frintova. British interest today comes mainly in the form of Lucy Hall with #24, very strong swimmer, and Jessica Learmonth is also involved. She wears #58. Most of the top British triathletes, Dawn Stanford, Jodie Stimpson, Helen Jenkins, still missing, recovering from injury. We have a total, minus #1 of course, of 58 ready to race here. Round 3 of the World Championship season being led of course by Gwen Jorgensen, the strongest triathlete in the world at the moment. Looks to be fairly unbeatable with the way she runs. She can be a minute and a half behind after the bike and still run through and win these competitions with ease. As they get underway, spectacular scenes on the Gold Coast as the best triathletes in the world tackle the early part of lap #1 in the swim. They'll do 2 circuits of 750 metres, leaving the water after lap 1 and diving back in to begin lap 2. Calm conditions in the sea on the Gold Coast. Beautiful day, perfect conditions for the World Triathlon Series. And here we are, round 3 on the Gold Coast. Partly cloudy, air temperature 27.3. The water is warm, so no need for a wetsuit. Always important, Steve True, to get a good start.
Well, Katie Zafiris here really has got a good start. She's at her starting slot right over on the right-hand side, and she has made a huge effort to get away. Great dive in, stayed under the water. You can just notice that double butterfly leg kick to come through, and looks as if she'd just taken a couple of metres lead very, very early on.
Katie Zafiris leads the swim, approaching the first buoy. Very strong in the water, Katie Zafiris. Joined in this race today by the other 2 main contenders from the USA team, which are Gwen Jorgensen, of course, and Sarah True, formerly Sarah Groff, who had her first World Triathlon Series win in Stockholm towards the end of last season. A little bit of argy-bargy, don't want to get trapped on the inside as they come round that pink buoy. 1 or 2 of them getting held up, stalling, getting ducked under the water. A mouthful of salty Australian sea is not what the triathletes need at this stage. Katie Zafiris out in front was clear of all that palaver and starts to stretch her lead at the front of the swim.
Well, just beginning to stretch out there, Katie, after that tremendous start in clear water, and we're just beginning to see the spear hold effect taking place.
So the next turn, and after this they'll be heading back towards the beach. Zafiris with a lead of a couple of metres, or she head-butted the buoy. Now, that wasn't the cleanest turn, and the next swimmer through, which might well be Carolina Routier, always good in the swim, the Spaniard. And this is the problem. They get so tightly bunched, and you can see it's a mess in there at times, and you really want to stay clear of flying arms and fingers and elbows. 9 minutes and 13 seconds gone. Learmonth leads for Great Britain. They're approaching the end of lap 1 of 2. Learmonth has spent a lot of time in the north of England, in Leeds, strong triathlon training base there. A former national medalist in swimming. This is her strong discipline, and she's leading them through as she looks up to see how far she's got to go before they come out of the water, and now she's on hands and knees round the blue Gold Coast banners, jogs along the carpet, quick turn and back into the water. Sarah True's right up there. We'll keep an eye out on all the main contenders as they come through. True in 4th, Pamela Oliveira, another strong swimmer, in 5th. Lucy Hall is going well, another strong swimmer, in 7th. Rachel Klammer, Van Koveren, Gwen Jorgensen down in 10th. She's right up there with the leader, Gwen Jorgensen, improving her swimming technique all the time, and only 5 seconds off the pace at the end of lap 1. That shows you how much improvement Gwen Jorgensen has made in the swim stage of triathlon.
It's only a very short time ago, Matt, that we would have expected in conditions like this. It is a chop out there. There's no wetsuits. It's a 1,500-metre swim. That would have been Jorgensen's weakness. It isn't any longer. She has come across, I think, from the 2012 Olympic Games, she has really become, as you say, the #1 triathlete in the world.
But it's Jessica Learmonth who is the #1 triathlete in this race right now, and this was her return to the water. You can tell just by the way she dived, the way she held her hands and the shape of her body, that she comes from a swim background. Number 58 in this race, but leading at this stage. So they're deep in lap 2 now, approaching the first buoy, and the field quite well spread, so we'll see less of the rough and tumble that goes on through these turns, but it's still quite crowded and congested in stages as they come through this left-handed turn. You can see one of the swimmers there having to stop to adjust her goggles to maintain her vision as Learmonth leads them through on her way to the next turn. It's a 1,500-metre swim, remember, followed by a 40k bike and then a 10k run.
Well, just showing that tremendous swimming strength, staying out of trouble. But coming around the second bite, the extra thing, of course, that extra fatigue on lap number 2. A little bit disorientated. We saw that coming round the buoy. Not all the swimmers taking a straight line.
Learmonth has a chance to glance behind her, have a look and see what the others are doing. After 18 minutes and 50 seconds, Jessica Learmonth leads, approaching the end of stage 1 of this World Triathlon Series competition in Australia on the Gold Coast. Last time they raced here, 2009 at the World Triathlon Series final. Approaching the end of the swim, Jessica Learmonth first out of the water. What a start to this World Triathlon Series event for the British triathlete. And the others are following in her footsteps. Learmonth clocks 19 minutes and 21 seconds, followed by Routier and Vanek, then Zafiris and Clark. Jorgensen is 5th, Duffy 6th. Great swim from Gwen Jorgensen to get into 5th. Lucy Hall is with the front group as well. She should be out there riding with the front pack. 15 seconds to Aileen Reid, then Claudia Rivas and Yuri Ide from Japan. Natalie Van Koveren down in 18th position. And then a bit of a gap to Paula Findlay, Emma Moffat, Lindsay Jordanek, Erin Densham is a little further back. And you know who's missing from that? Andrea Hewitt. She is a long way back, 32 seconds off the pace. Andrea Hewitt, we would expect her to be closer to the front. She's got work to do as they get out onto 2 wheels on the road. So, the front pack has formed, and it will contain both of the British representatives, Lucy Hall and Jessica Learmonth.
Well, straight to the front goes Flora Duffy from Bermuda. She's had a very, very strong swim. A lot more confidence now. She's been excelling on the off the road, on the wild side of triathlon. Now she's back. She's had a great start to the season. She's got her head down now. She's really made a move, and she's looking back. Who's she got with her? Are we going to split that pack early on?
So number 12, representing Bermuda, Flora Duffy. 25 tucked in behind is Carolina Routier from Spain, the girlfriend of Mario Mola, one of the main contenders on the Men's World Triathlon Series. Number 3 is Katie Zafiris, on the podium already this season. 7 behind her, Sarah True, another American. The American's in good shape with True and Zafiris, and of course Jorgensen, who's had a cracking swim. She will be delighted. And you've got to say at this stage, if Jorgensen stays safe on her bike, she is a very short price favourite to win this competition on the Gold Coast today. It's going to take possibly a mistake from the world #1 to lose her domination as they go on this brief climb. It's not particularly strenuous, pretty flat in these parts, but a moment out of the saddle for Katie Zafiris, who leads Sarah True through on lap 1. So by this stage, feet are now firmly in the shoes and everybody's settled ready to ride the 40Ks. We've got a casualty. Miriam Casillas Garcia is in tears at the side of the